The sun dipped low over the golden fields of Willow Creek, Iowa, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. But for 16-year-old Ellie Mae Thornton, that beauty was drowned out by fear. Her wrists burned where coarse rope cut against the bark of an old oak tree. Laughter, cruel, mocking, echoed around her as three figures loomed in the fading light. The bullies of Willow Creek High had chosen her again, but this time they had gone too far. Tied up, humiliated, left alone. Ellie Mae had no idea that one phone call would change everything, bringing a storm that no one in that small town could have predicted. If you're new here and love stories of courage and comeback, hit that subscribe button and join our community. We're just getting started. Ellie Mae was different from the other kids in Willow Creek. Quiet, almost invisible, with her denim overalls and the long braid that swung like a rope down her back. Her family's farm, fields of corn and soybeans, was her world. She grew up milking cows before sunrise, fixing fences with her father, and reading dog-eared books under that very oak tree, where she now stood tied and helpless. School was another story. At Willow Creek High, her shy, soft-spoken nature made her an easy target. Her faded clothes drew sneers. Her silence invited cruelty. Travis Boone, the swaggering quarterback with a smirk like a knife, saw her as prey. And with him came his loyal shadows, Leela and Cody. It started small, whispers in the hallway, cruel notes slipped into her locker, freak, loser. Ellie Mae kept her head down, clutching her books like armor. But Travis thrived on cruelty. That spring, he had decided to break her spirit. "You think you're better than us, farm girl," he sneered in the cafeteria one afternoon, his voice loud enough for everyone to hear. Ellie Mae flushed scarlet, her eyes fixed on the floor. She didn't think she was better. Truth was, she didn't think much of herself at all. By summer, things had escalated. One afternoon they followed her home, hurling pebbles as she hurried down the dirt road. She ran, breath hitching, but they were faster. Their laughter chased her like shadows. Out of that cruelty came the twisted idea that led to the oak tree. It was a Friday evening. The air smelled of cut grass and impending rain. Ellie Mae, fresh from the library, was walking home when a pickup screeched to a stop. Cody lunged, grabbing her arms. Leela giggled, rope in hand. "You're going to learn your place, Ellie Mae," Travis said, eyes gleaming with malice. They dragged her to the oak, half a mile from her family's farmhouse. She kicked and twisted, but she was small, and they were strong. The rope bit into her wrists, sneakers scraping the dirt as Travis leaned close, his breath hot in her ear. "Let's see how long it takes for anyone to care about you, farm girl." Then they left, their laughter fading into dusk as storm clouds gathered. Ellie's chest tightened with panic. The knots were too tight. The field was silent except for rustling cornstalks and distant thunder. She was alone, or so she thought. Because Ellie Mae had a secret. In her back pocket was a cheap flip phone, one she had bought with saved-up chore money. On that phone was a number she had memorized but never dared to dial. A number belonging to someone who could turn this nightmare upside down. Her scraped fingers fumbled for the phone, almost dropping it twice before flipping it open. The screen glowed faintly, a lifeline in the dark. She dialed. The ringing felt like forever. Then a voice answered, low and steady, slicing through the static like steel. "Ellie, what's wrong?" It was him. Caleb Thornton. Her husband. A man no one in Willow Creek even knew existed. At that very moment, he was thousands of miles away on a classified Delta Force mission. But to Caleb, this wasn't a prank. This was war. "They tied me to a tree," Ellie Mae whispered, her voice cracking. That was all he needed. Caleb's tone hardened instantly. "Where are you?" "Exact location. By the oak tree off Miller Road, half a mile from the farm." "Stay calm. I'm coming. Don't hang up." The line stayed open. Ellie heard orders barked in the background, the precision of a military unit mobilizing. She didn't know how he would get there. She only knew one thing: Caleb Thornton never broke a promise. To understand why a 16-year-old farm girl had a Delta Force husband, we need to go back 2 years. At 14, Ellie Mae met Caleb at the county fair. He was 22, quiet, broad-shouldered, with eyes that seemed to see straight through her. They bonded over country music, fireflies, and dreams bigger than Willow Creek. Unlike the boys at school, he listened. He cared. Their connection was undeniable. By summer's end, they had married in secret at a chapel across state lines. No one knew, not even her parents. The next day Caleb shipped out. Letters and rare calls kept their love alive. He couldn't share his missions, but Ellie knew he was part of something dangerous, something bigger than either of them. And now, tied to a tree, she had called him. The rain began to fall, cold and heavy. Her wrists ached. Her phone battery flickered low. Caleb's voice was a steady anchor. "I'm on transport now, Ellie. ETA 3 hours. Keep talking to me." 3 hours felt like forever. She told him about the bullying, the torment, the fear she carried daily. Caleb listened, his silence weighted with fury. "They're going to regret this," he finally said, his voice low and deadly. Meanwhile, Travis, Leela, and Cody partied at a bonfire near town, laughing about the farm girl tied to a tree. Cody shifted uneasily. "You sure we should have left her? Storm's coming." Travis waved him off. "She's fine. Probably walked home already." They didn't know that a military transport was cutting across the night sky. Caleb and his team landed outside Des Moines. A black SUV waited. Caleb, in jeans and a flannel, looked every bit the civilian. But his 5 teammates moved with silent precision, Delta Force, operating in the shadows. "This is personal," Caleb said as the SUV roared toward Willow Creek. "No casualties. But they'll remember this." Back at the Oak, Ellie shivered, soaked to the bone. Lightning split the sky as her phone crackled. "Hang on, Ellie. 20 minutes. Headlights pierced the storm. Caleb leapt from the SUV, knife flashing to cut the ropes. Ellie collapsed into his arms, shaking but fierce. "You came," she whispered. "Always," he said, voice thick with emotion. But Caleb wasn't finished. He tucked her safely into the SUV, wrapped in a blanket. "Stay here. I've got business." "Don't hurt them," Ellie said firmly. "Just make them understand." Caleb nodded, though fire burned in his eyes. He and his team found the bullies at the bonfire. Travis froze as Caleb stepped into the firelight, his silhouette towering, 6 men fanning out behind him. "Who the hell are you?" Travis demanded. "You tied my wife to a tree," Caleb said, calm but lethal. Travis laughed nervously. "Ellie Mae. That loser's your wife?" Caleb didn't answer. In one swift move he twisted Travis's arm, forcing him down. "You should be scared," Caleb whispered. Leela's eyes filled with tears. Cody muttered frantic apologies. Caleb's team stood silent, their presence alone enough to crush bravado. "You're going to apologize to Ellie Mae," Caleb ordered. "And you're never going to speak to her again. If you do, I'll know. And I'll be back." The next day, Willow Creek buzzed with rumors. Travis, Leela, and Cody showed up at Ellie Mae's farm pale and shaken, stammering apologies. Caleb stood behind her, arms crossed, eyes sharp. The town didn't know the details, only that Ellie Mae's mysterious husband had appeared, and the bullies backed down fast. Rumors spread. Soldier. Mercenary. Ghost. Ellie didn't care. She had Caleb. And for the first time, she felt untouchable. The weeks that followed changed everything. Caleb stayed on leave, helping on the farm and teaching Ellie self-defense. "You're stronger than you think," he told her one evening under the oak tree. Her confidence grew. At school, she spoke up. Her bullies kept their distance. The town saw her differently, not as the quiet farm girl, but as someone who had faced darkness and come out stronger. Eventually, Caleb returned to his unit. "I'm always one call away," he promised. Ellie kept his number close, though she didn't need it as often anymore. She had found her own strength. The oak still stood, scarred but reaching skyward, just like Ellie Mae. And so Willow Creek learned a lesson it would never forget. Never underestimate the quiet ones. They might just have a Delta Force husband, and a fire inside them no bully can extinguish. Thanks for staying with Ellie Mae's story until the end. It's proof that courage often comes from the most unexpected places. Now tell me, where are you watching this from? Drop your city or state in the comments. I'd love to see how far this story reaches.